Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and this is a word of caution regarding watching pick a card love readings. So while there is nothing inherently wrong with wanting to know where you stand with the love interest on your mind, the reason why you're wanting to know where you stand with them matters greatly, as it can greatly impact your mental and emotional well-being. So a very good question to ask yourself when it comes to why you're watching pick a card love readings is, am I simply curious or am I actually clinging? Holding on to hope isn't always a good thing, especially if it's keeping you stuck in limerence or in codependence. The last thing I want to do is to enable limerence and codependence with the content that I create. I want to help you create a life in which you're truly thriving, not keep you stuck in survival mode. And I know how it all works because I've been there. So this is where grace, knowledge, understanding, and compassion come in. It's okay if the only way you're able to self-soothe in this moment is by way of participating in coping mechanisms, distractions, and the like. As long as you're also doing yourself a favor by learning how to heal the wounding that has been fueling any limerence and or codependent patterns that you might have. My promise to you is that as you heal the wounding, your dependency on your SP, which means specific person, aka the person on your mind, or your ex, will begin to dissolve naturally, to the point where you're not even curious about what they're thinking and how they're feeling about you anymore. I know this to be true from personal experience. When you're ready to start healing the wounding, I have some amazing resources to get you going. My personal recommendation is to start with 2 videos, how to stop manifesting separation, and then the other one is called Releasing the Wants. Both videos will be linked in the description box below. My heart is always with you guys, and with that I bid you more happy viewing. Love, Michelle. What's going on, Pile 1? Welcome back to my channel. We're doing another pick a card love reading. We are tapping into your person's, their thoughts and their feelings, like what was their overall impression about the last time they saw you. Okay, so we're gonna ask, several questions to kind of get a real good deep dive on this subject. All right, and then we're also gonna find out, do they still think about that night? When if they do, and then what do they still think about it, just kind of things like that. It's going to be such an interesting reading. All right, so pile 1, just keep in mind it's a general, so whatever resonates, take it, run with it, claim it. If it doesn't resonate, just drop it, leave it behind for whomever it might be resonating for. As always, I have personals available. All the booking details are in the description box below. I have a lot of readings available in the specific person category. Many of them are just $25. So go see which one resonates the most with you. All right, you guys. So you guys were drawn to the clear quartz seer stone. Put it back where it belongs on my setup. All right, let's get your person's overall impression of the last time they saw you. So we have the full moon in Pisces, balance, spirituality, and practicality. We have the 8 of Pentacles. We have the Page of Cups in reverse. I'm already hearing them say, I could have handled that better. Or I should have handled that better. I should have done something different. We also have the King of Wands in the upright position, and then the Ace of Cups showing up in the reverse. Your person was holding back quite a bit, pile 1. I'm hearing something about there were things that they wanted to say that they didn't say. They were withholding love and affection, but it feels like more out of self-preservation. Not necessarily putting on a show, but they were definitely putting on a brave face, okay? So let's dive a little bit deeper and see what is going on. Let's make sure this thing's recording. Yeah, okay. Pile 1's person. What? So we're going to find out now what their thoughts and feelings were during the encounter, and then we'll look at what their thoughts and feelings were after the encounter. All right, pile one's person, your energy, your thoughts and feelings towards pile one during your guys' last encounter. I am picking up on some regret, pile one, your person has about that time or that night. I'm distracted. Okay, yeah. And they could have been distracted with work. Because that's showing up underneath the 8 of Pentacles, something they were working on, a project or something like that. And it could have been, you know, them distracting themselves on purpose, okay? Pile one's person. Your thoughts and feelings about the last time you and pile one encountered each other. Ooh, okay. Now we're gonna find out what they're, let's see, after the encounter. Your thoughts and feelings towards pile one after the encounter. They weren't prepared. I don't know if this was like an unexpected meeting. Okay. They were wanting to appear distracted, pile one. And they may have, I'm also picking up some energies of maybe them being shy, okay? Being shy or being timid during your last encounter. And so they may have been, like, I'm picking up them fidgeting with something or messing with something. You know, the 8 of Pentacles energy is something that's very hands-on. Literally, this card shows this person like cooking. So, you know, they were definitely doing something to make it appear like they were distracted. And they could have genuinely have been doing something, especially if, you know, they were working or they were getting dinner ready or whatever, right? Distracted with friends. But they were very aware of your presence, okay? Very aware, because we have I'm distracted, but then it says I only have eyes for you, okay? They were very aware of your presence, and they were, even if it was in their peripheral, they were definitely keeping track and keeping tabs on what you were doing, who you were with, who you may have been talking to, you know, if any of that is applicable. If not, then it was just them, your person being highly, their radar was fixated on you, okay? Regardless of what they were doing, who they were talking to, regardless of what they may have been distracting themselves with, it's like, yeah, they were, you know, it's like split attention. And then it says we want different things. We'll see what that talks about, because that message is actually in the other messages as well, because it says after the encounter, they were in the energy of, you know, they wanted you to be patient because they weren't ready for this type of love. I want this more than you know. But then we also have not quite what I'm looking for in a life partner. They may feel like the two of you, it doesn't feel like different pages in terms of phases. That's what it feels like. You guys may be in different phases of life right now. And your person may just, at this point in time, may want different things than you do in terms of, like, you know, commitment. Maybe they just want to focus on work, focus on school, focus on, they may be in the process of maybe trying to build something or rebuild something. There is some conflicting energies here, like with balanced spirituality and practicality. That almost feels like your person trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I balance what I'm feeling with what I'm needing to do? There is a split in, I don't know, it's like maybe I'm not picking up any sword energy here. So there may not have even been a whole lot of communication between the two of you the last time you and your person saw each other. What is going on here? Let me see. Let's do some clarifying. They wanted to appear to be very confident and sure of themselves around you. Yeah, let's find out. Let's look at, I want this more than you know. Oh, wow. With the King of Wands in the reverse. Very interesting. So this is where your person's getting real, pile one, because the King of Wands in the upright position right here is your person. That's the mask that they were wearing. That was the persona they were wanting to present. Underneath that mask, though, they really wanted to feel that way, like the person that they present themselves to be in your presence. And this may even be how they believe that you see them, right? Your person could be getting some kind of an energy boost from you, or yeah, something like that. And it's almost like the person that they think you see in them, they truly want to be that. And there's an energy here, pile one, of your person just not feeling like whatever it is you're wanting in life, especially since it's coming through that the two of you are like in two different phases or maybe two different levels of life. They don't feel like they measure up. They don't feel like they're quite good enough. Okay, there's something here where they feel like they're lacking in something. They want to be this super confident, do whatever it takes, endless kinds of energy. They want to be that person. They want to be, you know, they wanted to be flirtatious, right? They wanted to be more expressive. They wanted to take action towards you, but they didn't. They withheld quite a bit, and a lot of that is coming from some insecurities that your person was having at the time of your guys' encounter, okay? And they are looking back, like in this energy here, and we will see if they are actively looking back, but after the encounter, they did look back on it with a sense of, I wish I would have, there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, right, that your person's kind of going through, and a lot of it is them wishing that maybe they had said something to you, maybe even approached you, you know, but because the two cups energies that we have here, they're sweet, but they're showing up in the reverse, like your person was blocking or delaying or, you know, not participating in it. The energy is there, right? They essentially cut off like what they were feeling and put on a mask instead. That's pretty much what happened here. Okay. Let's find out what's going on with not what I'm looking for in a life partner. Interesting. Now we have the King of Wands showing up in the upright position. Clarify the King of Wands in the upright now. Then we got the King of Wands in the upright with the King of Swords. And then we have the King of Pentacles in the reverse showing up at the back of the deck. Your person, it's almost like a split personality here. So this is a really interesting dynamic that's coming up within your person. And it really is painting them in the light of somebody who is not a complete person within themselves. Okay, this is projection. What they're saying here when it says not quite what I'm looking for in a life partner, what they're wanting in a life partner is somebody to make them feel, right, this way. But that's not the job of a life partner. That's, the job of, each individual to do that for themselves. And so, you may be somebody who stands in their own power, pile one, and you're not someone who's just going to come in, you're not looking for a Build-A-Bear, right? And that's kind of like what your person is wanting. They're wanting a Build-A-Bear. They're wanting someone to come in and build these aspects within them. It's kind of, I don't want to say codependent. There might be another word for that. Because the King of Wands and the King of Swords are not necessarily, they're not codependent energies here, especially when they're showing in the upright. But the King of Pentacles at the reverse at the bottom of the deck says a lot. They feel very unstable and insecure, just in and of themselves. And so they're looking for someone to come in and build that foundation for them. And, where your person is coming from, they don't see you as someone to do that, which, it's no one's job to do that. It's your person's job to build themselves up, right, into these king aspects that they want. But, it just that it is what it is. Let's see. Let's look at I want different things. This is what they were thinking and feeling during your guys' interaction. Tell me more about we want different things. Oh, see, they keep coming up in this King of Wands. Something about you, something about you may very much knock your person off balance for some reason, pile one. We got the Three of Swords in the reverse, showing up with the King of Wands in the reverse. Your person has a lot going on when it comes to this archetype of the King of Wands, who they want to be versus who they actually are. They want to be the King of Wands in the upright position, but they're not, right? They're in the dysfunction of that energy. They're wanting to heal that part of themselves. But like I said, they're wanting someone to do that healing for them, okay? And so, again, that's pointing to, I'm hearing some of you stood your ground on something. It's like you're wanting them to learn how to heal themselves, how to provide happiness and confidence to themselves, how to boost themselves, because that's, that's what we do, right? That's somebody that's more secure, versus somebody who's more codependent on somebody else's energy, which feels like this is what is going on here, right? So one of you wants your person to do the healing on their own, right? Which is the way that it's supposed to be. And then somebody else wants to be, either the healer, or they want to outsource that healing to somebody outside of them, right? And that's what they mean by we want different things. It feels like your person is looking for someone to come in and save them in whatever way they feel like they need to be saved. It doesn't necessarily feel like it's financial. It can be, right? But the main energies here we have is like your person needs someone to come in and Build-A-Bear. That's all I keep hearing is Build-A-Bear, right? And you're not wanting that. You guys are not on the same page when it comes to that. And that could be the different phases that the two of you are in. You're someone who might know how to, get like validation from yourself. Get love and connection from yourself. How to fill your own cup. And then, when that cup is full, you're able to share of the abundance with other people, but you're not outsourcing those things to people outside of you, right? You're sharing that energy with other people, but you're not outsourcing it, right? You're not seeking validation from external sources and third parties and stuff like that. It feels like your person is, okay? They're looking for someone to come in and boost and feed their ego. And it doesn't feel like you're that person. You're not the one, right? You have no problem boosting egos and giving compliments and stuff like that, but you don't want to be the source of that, because trying to be the source of something like that when it's coming from, a void, that void is insatiable. It requires never ending, offerings and sacrifices and stuff. And, it's okay to do that, just in passing. But if someone is relying on you as a source of their self-esteem and their confidence and stuff like that, it's going to be draining, not only on you, but on the connection itself. Let's see. We're going to move on. Let's find out if do they still think about that night? Do they still think about that night? Pile one's person, do you still think back to that night? That time, do you still think about that time? Do you still think about that time? Okay, and for the most part, it's a no. But it's not, every now and again, it's like they'll think back to that night. Okay, it's not on the forefront of their mind. We'll put it that way. Again, when they do think back to it, they think about what they could have done different or what they should have done different. They think about, some of the wittier things they may have been able to say, right? There's not a lot of feeling, though, coming through here, because, yeah, there's some things that they wish that they would have said, but they don't actually think about, oh, I wish I would have told pile one that I missed them. They're not even thinking back to that. They're thinking about things that they could have said that would have made them maybe impress you, right? Stuff like that. Very ego-centered. I am hearing, that they don't wish any harm on you, and that some of you, your person actually hopes you're doing okay. They actually wish you well. Yeah. Your person doesn't, yeah. I mean, we can just leave it there. They don't necessarily think about that interaction. Again, it's not on the forefront of their mind. They might see it as, gossip or relationship drama and stuff like that. They don't talk about it to anybody else. And so, yeah, I mean, they've moved on from that moment. We'll leave it like that. Okay. Pile one, that was your reading. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again today. If this resonated, do me a favor, if you would, smash a like button for me. It's a wonderful way to energetically donate to the channel. Comment below. Let me know that you picked this pile. Let me know how it resonated. Become part of the family if you want to by hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you don't miss a reading or an announcement. And pile one, I will see you guys at your next pick a card love reading. Bye. What's going on, pile two? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. We are doing another pick a card love reading. We are tapping in and channeling what your person's overall mood and energy, thoughts and feelings were towards you the last time you guys encountered each other. I'm going to mostly be picking up on energies where the encounter was in person. But for those of you where the encounter wasn't in person, maybe it was like via text or something like that, we're just getting the overall snapshot of your person's thought process, what they were thinking, feeling, all that stuff, okay? So just keep in mind, and also this is a general, so whatever, resonates in the reading, take it, run with it, claim it. If something isn't resonating, just drop it, leave it behind. for, you know, the people that it does resonate for. I do have personal readings available if you want me to tap exclusively into you and your person's connection. All the booking details are in the description box below. I have many readings available in the specific person category. A lot of them are just $25, so go check them out, see which ones resonate the most with you. All right, pile 2. You guys were drawn to the etched selenite heart. I'll put them back, y'all. Let's see. Let's get the overall, like what the impression that they were left with after the encounter. Let's see. So we have the third quarter moon. It says adjustments are required, and then we have the 6 of Wands in the reverse. Something definitely didn't go. What I'm hearing is something didn't go as planned, okay? There is a sense of disappointment here, and not coming through in a heavy way, though, you know, as what would be depicted by, like, say, a 5 of Cups kind of an energy, but there is definitely something here where this feels more ego-based, like your person's ego, you know, felt bruised as a result of your guys' last encounter, okay? But, you know, softness towards you, like you still have a soft spot in their heart, okay? We're talking about the impression after the encounter was over with, okay? Because we got the 6 of Wands in the reverse, we have the 6 of Cups showing up in the upright position, and then we have the Page of Wands showing up in the reverse. There is, yeah, there's definitely an energy here of your person feeling like, okay, something needs to change. Maybe like them wanting to adjust a strategy or something. With adjustments are required, this is your person walking away from, you know, or proverbially, is that how you say it? Whatever. Walking away from the connection thinking, okay, I gotta do something different, or something different needs to happen. There's definitely, your person clocked a shift, you know, that is needing to happen. Not just sensing it, right? But your person actually seeing like, okay, something different about this needs to be done. Let's find out what's going on with the Page of Wands energy in the reverse here. To clarify the Page of Wands in the reverse. Ooh. Yeah, they're not sure. Okay, so this is them. The Page of Wands feels like your person wanted to come through with some kind of, you know, flirtation, some kind of communication, but not feeling very optimistic about it, okay? So when they walked away from the connection, there was something that they were wanting to say, but they withheld it back because the Star in the reverse. What's with the Star in the reverse? It's definitely a sense of not being very optimistic about about it. Why is the Star in the reverse here? This feels like them wanting to send you a message or wanting to call you, but holding back and not saying what it is they're really wanting to say. Okay. This feels like they didn't want to rock the boat any more than what it was already rocked. Okay, so something may have happened. Let me find out what happened with the 6 of Wands in the reverse. Tell me more about the 6 of Wands in the reverse. Why is that here? Ooh, okay. Whoever the feminine energy is in this dynamic withheld their warmth. Maybe even cut access to, you know, someone shut off during this encounter. Someone shut off. And it bruised the other person's ego. It knocked them down a few pegs. Okay? The bond itself and the connection still remained intact as far as your person's concerned. But I'm getting the feeling in the image of the boat had been rocked, right? I don't know if they said something or if they did something or if they just showed up in a certain way or didn't show up in a certain way. Someone here got a response that they didn't necessarily like, shut down because of it. And the other person, which I'm feeling is your person, pile 2, okay? But again, it's a general, so put these where they fit. The person on the other end of that, the person who's not the Queen of Wands in the reverse, we'll just put it that way, okay, felt deeply moved by the Queen of Wands shutting down. They weren't used to that. They weren't expecting that. It rocked them, okay? It rocked them internally. It definitely did something. And so after your person walked away from the encounter, pile 2, like, really kind of with the gears in their head going like, okay, is there a way to salvage this? Is there something that I can do or that I can say that will turn the Queen of Wands back on again? It doesn't look like they figured out what that was. And so they decided to respond by basically not responding at all, by holding back. But I will say, pile 2, your person wanted to reach out to you. They wanted to. They wanted to, you know, maybe even offer some kind of a, like an olive branch. I'm hearing, can't we just get along? Can't we all just get along? But they didn't, because they were like, the boat's already been rocked and they didn't want to rock the boat anymore. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see, let's find their thoughts and feelings during the encounter and then their thoughts and feelings after. Pile 2's person, your thoughts, feelings during the encounter with pile 2. They may have been somewhat quiet. Healing from heartbreak. I just now picked up an impression that your person may have been the one who was shut down first. But for some reason, like you shut down in response, but your person is like, that's not normal for you, right? I did pick that up for some of you. Let's see. Your thoughts and feelings. Yeah, see, they're being very reserved with their communication, and that's exactly how you may have experienced them when you were actually with them. No, that's too many. Oh, okay, give me one more. Yeah, you shut down too. You shut down. Let's find out what they were thinking after the encounter. Thinking and feeling after the encounter. Afterwards. Okay, so they shut down after. That's why that Page of Wands is in the reverse. Or they stayed shut down. Let's get a couple more. Your thoughts and feelings towards pile 2 after the encounter. Ooh, strictly sexual. back of the deck says, I don't feel like I'm good enough for you. All right, let's see. Oh, they... Okay, you guys. All right, so your person has an interesting thought process kind of going through their head. There's a thing about, you know, after the encounter was done and over with, right? Whatever happened between the two of you, your person kind of looked back at that and they're like, see, this is why I keep things casual. You know, because they're over here in the Six of Cups energy towards you. That's soulmate energy. That's, you know, somebody that feels like home. This is a real bond. It's a real connection. And your person's almost looking back like, see, this is why I keep things strictly sexual or strictly casual. This is why I don't cross, you know, certain lines and boundaries or milestones with people. And so right after they were done with this encounter, pile 2, yes, they had, you know, they may have, however which way you guys communicate, they may have, you know, done as much as crafted like a message to send to you, but they never sent it. But what they did do was immediately like go on your social media for some reason. Okay, maybe they were wanting to see like, okay, am I blocked? You know, trying to see like what damage may have been done or something like that. Like they, you know, they went to your social media to see maybe if you've commented about it, if you're sending like subliminal messages about it. For whatever reason, one of the first things they did after your guys' encounter was to check your social media, pile 2. Okay. But during the encounter, this is really interesting. We have healing from heartbreak. Please talk to me, and I was being selfish. So let me see if this healing from heartbreak is connected to you, or if this was just something they were dealing with in the background and it impacted you guys somehow. For some of you, you're going to already know what that healing from heartbreak might be in reference to, right? If they were healing from heartbreak from, you know, some kind of a loss that they were going through at that point in time. But let's see, for those of you where, you know, you don't know whether or not your person, you know, was grieving the loss of, you know, something or someone. Let's see. Healing from heartbreak. Ooh, the Queen of Swords. Okay, this is going to be somebody, the Queen and the King of Swords, when they usually come up in a love reading, can depict, you know, separation, even divorced couples, right? Estranged couples. And so that's who that healing from heartbreak is in regard to. It's a Queen of Swords in the reverse. It's somebody that, you know, your person could be separated from, but maybe not necessarily like divorced from. You're going to know whether or not that's you. Okay, let's see if we can get some more. Tell me more about the Queen of Swords in the reverse for pile 2, and then we'll move on. Could be an air sign, not Aries, sorry, that's fire. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But I did see the Queen of Wands at the back of the deck. So air and what is that? Air and air and fire. Jesus. Okay. Oh, and then we got the Seven of Swords showing up down on the floor. It's not who you might think it is. And so, you know, they're still healing from heartbreak, more than likely from an ex, pile 2. You probably don't know about that. Being clarified by the Seven of Swords, it's not, you know, this is generally this is an energy your person tries to keep from you. So what it feels like for most of you, this energy coming through feels like an ex that they haven't like either really truly severed ties with, or that energy, there's still a loop there for your person. Okay. What that tells me, because they were dealing with this at the time that, you know, the two of you were having your last encounter, they may have had something recent pop up, or something triggered your person, you know, triggered that heartbreak connected to that person. I don't know if, you know, let's see, I'm gonna be nosy. I'm gonna be nosy. Why was this? Is this healing from heartbreak? Is this something that's been in the background, or was it something that just popped up at that time? This feels like you actually stirred it. You stirred that heartbreak somehow. You may remind them of somebody. You may remind them of that ex pile too. Okay. So it may not necessarily be that they had a recent encounter with that ex. It could be that there's something about you and the dynamic of your guys' connection that kind of like reminds them of that ex. Okay. Tell me about, please talk to me. Oh, you shut down. Yeah. You shut down, which made the energy between the two of you go like really cold. And so you may like have shut down to the point where you weren't talking. In fact, you know, you may have initiated no contact or no communication during that last encounter, whether you said it or not, but like you shut down to the point where you may not have even been speaking to that person, even if you were, you know, physically in their presence. Like you completely shut down. What they're coming through saying is that last encounter, especially if something happened between the two of you, pile 2, that drove this wedge between the two of you, they didn't intend for whatever that was to happen. They were operating out of this heartbreak. It was reactive is what they're saying. Spontaneous. It was something that they did or something that they said that almost slipped. It slipped past the filter of, you know, this is right, that's wrong, that's appropriate, that's inappropriate, stuff like that. Tell me about I was being selfish. Oh, they weren't giving you your flowers with the Queen of Wands in the reverse. That keeps showing up. They weren't giving you the attention that they know that they should have been giving you. They weren't, you see what I'm saying? It's like your person knows that they weren't showing up in the way that they should have. Okay? They were realizing that in real time as it was happening. As, you know, as this encounter was unfolding, like whatever was going on between the two of you, your person knew in real time they needed to change it up. They needed to adjust how they were showing up. But, you know, they couldn't get past their own defenses, their own ego. They shut down. All right, let's find out. Let's see. And this may be why with the underlying current, it says, I don't feel like I'm good enough for you. Okay. Your person may be dealing with a lot of insecurities that they don't feel comfortable voicing. But anyway, we're going to find out now. Like, do they think back to that night even now? Pile 2's person, do you think back to that night? Not really, if I'm being honest. We got overwhelming. We got 2 no's and maybes. And so it could just be that a lot of time has passed, okay? And, you know, this would resonate if you guys have, you know, moved on or whatever the case may be. But I can tell you, like, what they were thinking after the encounter was over, they kind of settled it in their mind, like, see, this is why I don't do don't do relationships. This is why I only like to keep things strictly casual. Your person feels more comfortable in a casual dynamic, and it feels like, you know, there's, I mean, it may have been casual, like spoken wise, but it doesn't feel like it was casual with the Six of Cups here. Emotionally, it wasn't casual, right, for your person. And so they may have been making, up until this point, a conscious effort, you know, and it may not be so conscious anymore. After a while, things start to become more habitual and you don't have to put as much conscious effort into it, which it feels like that's where your person's at now. Okay. With admiration here, even though that says no, this is letting you know, pile 2, that when your person does think back to you, just in general, you know, it's not with any kind of maliciousness, right? This actually says, even though it is a no card, it says admiration, can do no wrong, put on a pedestal, inferior, superior relationship. And that's where this energy over here, where it says, I feel like I'm not good enough for you. This is how they feel. Like when they think about you and they think about your guys' connection, they see that there's to your person anyway, they feel like there's a gap. Your person feels like they don't measure up to you, or that they wouldn't be able to give you what you need and what you want in, you know, a connection that goes beyond something casual. And with old school here, it says does not like to change. Even though it says adjustments and changes are needed, your person may have seen that, like, you know, yeah, they recognize that there needed to be a shift and a difference in the way that things have been, you know, happening between the two of you. But they weren't willing to make those changes. Okay, the fear was outweighing, you know, maybe the desire to want to make changes. And this is, yeah, with bumpy path here, it says won't be easy, lots of ups and downs, love will be tested. This is how they feel about it. This is why they're not. They're like, no, what's the point in thinking back to something that, you know, your person just doesn't see the need to do that, because the changes that are needed for this connection to thrive, your person is just not willing to do that. Okay. Oh, yeah, unaware at the bottom of the deck. See, so this Six of Cups energy is here, right? But your person is unwilling to honor the bond and the connection that the two of you had. This feels like somebody that may have just been in it for, you know, maybe superficial reasons. It may have started because of that. And over time, or over your guys' connection, an honest and real bond, soul level bond formed, and your person's like, yeah, that's not, I'm not saying that at the time that it was happening that they didn't want it, but it definitely took your person outside of their comfort zone. Very much took them outside of their comfort zone, and that's what they didn't like that. Okay, pile 2, that was your reading. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again today. If this reading resonated, take a moment, if you would. You can show your appreciation by smashing the like button for me. It's a wonderful way to energetically donate to the channel. Comment below. Let me know that you picked this pile. Let me know how it resonated. Become part of the family if you want, by hitting that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so you don't miss a reading or an announcement. Pile 2. I will see you guys at your next Pick a Card Love reading. Bye, guys. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. If you are new here, we're doing another Pick a Card Love reading. Tapping in and channeling your person's overall energy, their thoughts and feelings towards you during your guys' last encounter, whether that encounter was in person, you know, or not. Okay, just whatever your last encounter is. I will probably be channeling more from a space of as if you guys met in person, though, so just keep that in mind. Okay, and it is a general reading, so whatever resonates, just take it, run with it. If something isn't resonating, or it feels too specific and it just doesn't land, just leave those moments and that info for whomever it might be resonating for. Okay, I do have personal readings. If you want me to tap exclusively into you and your person's connection, just check the description box below for all of the booking details. I will say I'm already channeling some information through pile 3. There was a moment of clarity gained as far as your person is concerned regarding the connection itself. There's still a sense of heaviness that's coming through, even though that clarity was gained. We'll see what the rest of the cards say. Anyway, yeah. So I have a lot of readings available in the specific person category. Okay, you guys, many of them are just $25. So go check them out, see which one most fits your needs, wants, and desires. Okay, pile 3. You guys were drawn to the Rainbow Moonstone. Let's see what's going on. The impression that they left the encounter with. So we have the full moon in Capricorn with the end of a tough cycle approaches. We also have the star showing up in the reverse. Okay, the star in the reverse, the 8 of Cups and the 2 of Cups in the reverse. Man, this feels like closure. And I'm hearing your person say, like, walking away from this encounter, thinking to themselves, like, okay, the worst of it is over. Or, you know, it's like downhill from here. Like, basically, they did the tough thing, or that they lived through the most difficult aspect of whatever that encounter was. Like, they did the hard thing. It's all downhill from here. Okay. Yeah, this feels like closure. This feels like you guys, let me turn that off. With the 2 of Cups being in the reverse here, though, it doesn't feel, something still feels unresolved here, though, from your person's perspective. But they did feel the need. They did walk away realizing that they were going to have to withdraw from this connection mentally and emotionally. Okay? And this could, again, I'm picking up on closure. Let's find out. Pile 3's person. Show me your thoughts and feelings during the encounter. Your thoughts and feelings during your last encounter with pile 3. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh. Okay, there was some confusion with your person as the encounter itself was still ongoing. Now we're going to find out, and I'll delve more into it. Now we're going to find out their energy immediately after the encounter was over. Their thoughts and feelings after the encounter. I'm picking up there was hope. There was still some hope during the encounter itself, although your person was feeling some kind of trust issues about it. This feels like your person had a hope of maybe things going a certain way during that last encounter. Things didn't go the way that they were hoping they were gonna go. Okay. Let's see, pile. I'm going to leave that out because somehow that got flipped around in the deck so that I could see it. I'm going to put that, though, because I don't feel like that. Hold on. Okay, we'll leave that right there for now. Pile 3's person. There we go. You're my soulmate. This is how they left, okay, after the encounter. This is their thoughts and feelings after the encounter, like reflecting back on it, okay? Okay, yeah. Oh, at the bottom of the deck says, I want to be more than friends. Okay, that might be where the two of you are not, like, on the same page. Something definitely happened. Because I will say, your person's thoughts and feelings as the encounter itself was unraveling or unfolding, I'm hearing they had high hopes. but something didn't go according to what they, as they hoped that it would. And so your person left the encounter feeling like, you know, I need to let this go. I need to walk away. I need to withdraw emotionally. I need to move on and get over and blah, blah, blah. You know, they left the encounter feeling like whatever last shred or last bit of hope that they had regarding this connection, like it's gone. Okay. That doesn't stop them, though, you know, reflecting back on that, having some lingering attachment to you and to the connection itself. There's an energy here of your person wanting to rectify the situation, wanting to restore hope when it comes to you and the connection, wanting to get on the same page about something, but they just don't know how. It's like, what do I do? What do I say to get, you know, me and pile 3 back on the same page again? You know, because, and this is back of the deck energy. So this is giving me the vibe, pile 3, that your person doesn't want to just remain platonic friends with you, but they'll do it if they have to. It's giving me that vibe. This may have been what was the point of contention for you two during that last encounter. It says, do we have to get married though? Right? And so there may be something with your person according, like, the last encounter, and maybe it became very clear between the two of you that the current dynamic just was not sustainable, because one of you wanted something more from the connection than the other person was either able and or willing to give. You know, this is given vibes, and I'm not picking up here, pile 3, where your person feels anything like casual towards you. The feelings that your person has here, the heaviness that's depicted here, shows more than just somebody that's just in a casual connection. No, the connection itself, like, you know, could be casual, but it's like the feelings are anything but. It's one of those things, right? This could be, you know, maybe the connection itself didn't carry the responsibilities of something committed, you know, something every day, or something that's more reliable, or, you know, you guys weren't together officially, and one of you may be wanting to be together officially and the other person like was not wanting that, right? This is interesting. Like, during the encounter itself, it says, you got me over my ex / the third party, and then it has trust issues coming out with that. What's coming through, pile 3, is that your person, for some reason, they were kind of comparing. This may have been, if there's a third party, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of this makes sense. If there's a third party that's active right now in this dynamic, or was active at the time that this encounter was taking place, your person was actively comparing the two of you, okay? And during the time that, you know, you guys were having the encounter, you were coming out on top. Because it says here, you got me over my ex / the third party, something about trust issues, okay? But trust issues is coming out both ways. It's like your person has trust issues with you. They also have trust issues with the third party. And while it's weird, this is such a weird energy. Let me see if I can tell me about trust issues here. Ooh, the Queen of Wands. Okay, fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sag. Is this Queen of Wands pile 3 or the third party? It's a third party. Okay. Your person may, okay, so your person pile 3, and this is, we're just getting a little bit of the tea, okay? It's not officially a third party reading, but we're getting tea in the interim because a third party is active somewhere in here. There's something very superficial about your person's connection to the third party, very superficial. And something about your guys' encounter, especially your last encounter, kind of exposed that to your person, okay? Tell me about trust issues. They're saying something about too much. It's too much. There's something about your guys' connection and dynamic pile 3 that is just so, you guys just flow a lot better. Yeah, there's attraction there between the two of you, but it's more on a soul level than it is just ego based. And so, you know, while the third party might boost your person's ego in a superficial way, it's like you boost their soul, right? There's a heaviness to these trust issues that your person is connecting to the third party or the ex that they don't connect to you. There's something about your guys' connection, your chemistry, your dynamic that just flows easier. They didn't have to force it with you, right? Something about your person's connection and their chemistry and their flow with the third party feels manufactured, okay? And yeah, there's that 6 of Cups. Yep. See, the bond that your person has, or the connection that your person has with the third party, feels more, again, more superficial. It's more about boosting, you know, ego, as opposed to what they have with you actually boosts their soul, okay? They noticed that. They clocked that during your guys' last encounter, but, you know, for some reason, and it feels like because you guys could not get on the same page about something, and it could very well be about the third party. Let me find out what it says. We've got 2 cards that came out together. It says, it'll never work out. We're just way too different. And then it says attachment, not love, confusing attachment for true love. Tell me about this energy here. They think about that all the time. There's something that they clock about your guys' dynamic to pile 3 that they see that it wouldn't work long term. And it may be with the Knight of Swords energy here, there's something, and it could be because, you know, the passion and the chemistry between the two of you when you guys get together is like it cannot be contained. And for some reason for your person, that just doesn't work for them. There may be something with the third party where it's easier for your person to control that dynamic versus it not being easy to control the dynamic with you, okay? Again, the passion and the chemistry between them and the third party feels very manufactured, which feels like it's easier for your person to control and manipulate. But with you, it's more organic, okay? It's just natural with you two. Like your person doesn't have to try to get along with you. They don't have to try to flow with you. They don't have to try to feel, there isn't anything inherently that you have to say or do in order for your person to feel attracted to you. Your guys' chemistry is not manufactured. It's organic. It's real. It's natural. Okay. And for some reason, your person doesn't, because, you know, they can't control your guys' dynamic. It just doesn't work for them. I'm hearing they wanted you to step in line in many of the same ways that the third party steps in line. The third party is easier for your person to control. The connection and the dynamic between them and the third party or the ex is easier to control. They feel out of control with you. Tell me about attachment, not love. What's this here for? I feel like it's both, because a connection can morph into a toxic attachment. It doesn't take away the fact that it's still a soul level connection. That's why they feel like it's not going to work out, because the attachment is there. Yes, it's a bond. Like, they might even bond and connect, you know, very superficially with the third party, but the connection doesn't run so deep, and it's not so full of unbridled passion that it gets away from your person's ability to control it. With you, it's different. And that's why they say you're too different, it'll never work out. It's not a connection that they can, you know, that they can just solely navigate, that they can 100% control. You know, believe it or not, your person feels much more comfortable in a dynamic where it's more superficial, where it is more manufactured, okay? It's not as fulfilling for your person on a soul level, but it works for them, okay? It's that comfort zone kind of a thing. Because afterwards they're saying, you're my soulmate, pile 3. You're my soulmate. You're it, right? And something about that just doesn't work. Your person has some kind of an ego thing, pride thing going on where, you know, they got to have control over their environment. And that's the kind of people that they hang around, that they keep around their inner circle, are people that they can, people and relational dynamics that they can control, and they can't control you. It even says here they question your love for them. I'm hearing because you don't fall in line, or you refuse to fall in line. See, they get confused. They're the ones that get confused about what love is versus what attachment is. Your person's looking at you, pile 3, like, well, if you loved me like the third party loves me, or my ex loved me, you know, you would be basically, and I'm paraphrasing this, right? Basically, you would allow them to walk all over you, or to call all the shots, or, you know, you'd be so clingy to them that you wouldn't question any of their bad behaviors and stuff like that. And that's just not what they're getting from you. And it's a push and pull I'm seeing, because there's a part of your person that actually is really attracted to that. But they don't see that working out long term. Right now, where your person's at with dealing with some wound issues and maybe attachment issues, definitely a lot of pride and ego. They want to be with somebody where they can control the dynamic. That's just where your person's at. You know, that's a comfort zone for them. They don't want to be with somebody that they feel so passionate about that they lose some form of control. Okay, so now let's see, your person, do they still think about that last encounter? And then we'll end your reading. Do you still think about that last encounter? Pile 3's person. Ooh, okay. Let me get one more. If you guys have kids, they think about, yeah, they definitely think about that last encounter a lot. They think about how it's affecting the kids, okay, that are involved. Yes and no. More yes than no, okay? It's not something that they dwell on too much, but they do revisit that last encounter from time to time. It's not anything that really triggers a lot. You know, like when they do think about it, it doesn't, how do I want to say it? Wow, we got pregnancy and we got birth here. So children says pregnancy, children involved, inner child wounds. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have spring. It says birth, renewal, new love, romance, springtime, and the holidays. There's a couple of things that are coming through. Your person thinks back to this connection, if you guys, yes, thanks back to the connection itself. Okay, so that did want to come through. They don't necessarily think about the last time you guys had an encounter. They think about the connection itself, especially if you guys have kids together. They think about the connection a lot. Okay, but the question was, do they think about that last encounter? Yes and no. They think more about the connection as a whole, right? In general, especially if you guys have discussed, if you have kids, or if you've discussed, having kids, if you've discussed getting pregnant, they think about that specifically. They think about, how you guys would flirt, or how they want to flirt with you. They do think about, it's back of the deck energy, so it's not the strongest, but it is there sometimes floating in the background. Your person entertaining, like, what would it be like to start this all over again? What would it be like to have a new beginning with pile 3? They do flirt with, that possibility. Not enough at this point in time to take like active steps in that direction, but they do think about it. This can also be talking about, like, they might be preoccupied because they might be dealing with a third party, right? With new love or new romance here. They might be busy, doing holiday stuff with someone else, or holiday things with friends and family. So it's like they might be keeping themselves busy and distracted by several different types and kinds of like third parties, right? Other people. But you specifically, yes, they think back more to the connection itself than they do just any specific moment in the connection, especially if you guys have kids together or have talked about building a family together. All right, pile 3, let's see. With Casanova here, it says natural charm, active love life, and very hard to tame. Again, this is how your person sees your guys' connection, your chemistry, your fire, your mutual attraction. They have a hard time not thinking about this connection. They almost feel like magnetically drawn and pulled towards you. And it actually, what I'm hearing, it takes them a lot of energy to try and shut that down. There's a lot of cycling back that your person does when it comes to your guys' connection, pile 3. All right. That was your reading. Thank you for hanging out with me again today. If it resonated, do me a favor. Take a moment, if you would. Smash the like button for me. It's a wonderful way to energetically donate to the channel. Comment below. Let me know that you picked this pile. Let me know how it resonated. Become part of the family if you're not already by smashing that subscribe button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you don't miss a reading or an announcement. And pile 3, I will see you guys at your next Pick a Card Love reading. Bye.